Alright, hello everyone. My name is Anarchy, and this is Snoopy and the Great Mystery Club. This game was released in October of 2025, so it's frankly brand new. Um, but in this game, we play as Snoopy, Detective Snoopy even, where we solve mysteries with the rest of the Peanuts gang around town, including some of our good friends, Charlie Brown, Peppermint Patty, Linus and Lucy, and Franklin. And not that we'll be solving mysteries with him, but Pigpen is also there. I'll try and be nice to him. But yeah, this game has 4 chapters in it, with different cases for the Mystery Club to try and solve. Now, I'm not gonna lie, the full game, any percent run of all of the chapters, is pretty long. It's about a 2.5 hour-ish adventure. But the cool thing about speedrunning is we can kind of just decide that we don't want to do that. So instead, I'm going to be submitting each individual chapter as a standalone thing, which all of the chapters are self-contained. They're all different mysteries that don't have really anything to do with each other, which is awesome for our purposes. So this one is going to be a run of chapter 1, and this is going to be the case of the missing football equipment. So we are just going to go ahead and get started. We're going to load this save from the end of the introduction to the game, and time is going to start when we load in. Right. So as I said before, we play as Snoopy in this game, who is just really freaking adorable, kind of except for when he looks at you like front-facing style, but like we can kind of ignore that as show. And we have Charlie Brown who's going to come with us as we go look for Peppermint Patty. This game kind of takes its style from the 2015 Peanuts movie. I think when I was recording a different commentated run of Chapter 1, I think I misspoke and said 2016. But I meant 2015. And this is the first Peanuts, like licensed Peanuts game that's come out since then. I think the last Snoopy Peanuts related game was, I forget exactly what it's called, but it's Snoopy going flying style. But anyway, Peppermint Patty is supposedly at the football field, but she's not actually here. Instead, we have Violet. And Violet says that Peppermint Patty is at the elementary school. So we're going to go ahead and go find her. You might have seen that bus stop there in the distance. We're going to go collect that one later. I kind of meant to go get the one that's by Charlie Brown's house, but we'll get that later. So we're looking for Peppermint Patty, and there she is. She's in the gymnasium, so we're going to go ahead and find her. Here's Peppermint Patty. She was supposed to meet us at the football field, but instead, we are coming up on our first mystery, as that Peppermint Patty could not find her football. And here's where we're first sort of introduced to the costume changing system. So Snoopy has a bunch of different costumes that he can wear. The first one and the only one we have access to right now is the detective costume. And right now we are supposed to be retracing Peppermint Patty's steps to retrieve the football that she lost. However, the thing about all the characters in this game is that they're all children, so they kind of get lost in doing what they're supposed to be doing and kind of don't take the most optimal path to places. But with Detective Snoopy, instead of having to track by using the left trigger, if you know where the thing is that you're looking for, you can just go right to it. You don't have to worry about doing the actual thing you're supposed to do. So we won't actually be using the capabilities of the detective costume all that much. Now here we're going to be seeing our first minigame of the chapter, and that is the football minigame, where Peppermint Patty is going to kick some field goals for us. There are, I think I also misspoke in another version of this, where I said that there are 7 minigames. There are actually 8. However, when you replay in the activities menu, you can only replay 7 of them. So this one is one of them. The one that you can't replay is the Spot the Object minigame, because as the game will show that you can replay minigames, however, all of the Spot the Object ones are story dependent, so you can't replay those ones. So we found the football, but we are missing still the football equipment. So we're going to go ahead and go back to the gymnasium and try and find that for Peppermint Patty. As you see, once you collect characters in this game, the first 3 that you have kind of just follow behind you. I absolutely love their animations. This game is really endearing. It replicates that 2015 Peanut style very closely. It's very, very cute. What we are going to collect here is we're going to go in this corner and collect these marbles. These marbles are kind of important, but like not really. We're going to be using that as a currency to be able to do certain things later. However, we only ended up we're gonna need that in this chapter once, and then it'll only ever pop up again once. So we're gonna make sure we collect those so we have enough. Oh no, Peppermint Patty's football equipment is missing. So we're gonna go ahead and look for some evidence. The first piece of evidence is Linus's football jersey. And so that means that Linus must know something about this situation. So we're gonna go ahead and find him. You might have seen that door. Also, that was a different exit to the gym. That one goes to the playground, but we can't actually exit the school area from that exit yet. So we're gonna go ahead and track down Linus. Since we haven't really got our fast travelers together, we're just gonna go ahead and run there. As you can see, Snoopy's run speed, which seems really absurdly fast. We're gonna just be holding on the X button the whole time. This is his walk speed, by the way. So it feels like Snoopy feels like he's freaking sprinting. But we're gonna go ahead and find Linus. Linus is near the park. It's really important though that near the park part there, because he's not actually in the park. He's just near it, which is funny because once we find Linus down here at this wall here, you can't actually interact with him if you're on the inside of the park for whatever reason. So, there we are. Hi, Linus. Who I think his character model has seen better days. He's like the only one of the few models in this style in the game that does not look very good. But that's alright. Now, Linus is how he functions as a character is he isn't really involved in any of the other things. He serves as a mechanic for... Now, this is a game made for kids. This is a baby game made for babies, as I like to say. And he kind of serves as a mechanic for if whoever is playing gets lost or has no idea how they're supposed to proceed, they don't know what to do, or they get lost or whatever, you can go see Linus at the Thinking Wall, and he will give you hints and help you figure out what you're supposed to be doing. So Franklin was in the school's playground, so now we are going to actually go to the playground that I mentioned earlier. We're going to go head back in there. For some reason, the school is really wet. Not sure why. It is just wet. That is a thing you can rectify later, once we get our next costume that we're going to get. Or not the next one, but the one after that. I don't know why it's wet to begin with. Anyway, no sign of Franklin. But here is his soapbox racing helmet. Once again, we're supposed to be following these tracks, but we know that they lead out of the playground over to this door. We also get another piece of evidence, these empty equipment boxes. Charlie Brown laments that, oh no, the path is blocked. But it's just a gate, we can open the gate. Good old Charlie Brown. They're also talking about a mound of dirt right there. That is not something we can currently interact with, but one that we will be able to in a moment. That also leads to a secondary entrance to the school. We can, if we need to go to the playground, which we will do after, we can just go that way. We're going to activate the bus stop here, just in case we need to fast travel back to the school. That also is for one of the collectibles in this game. In this game is the comic strips, which you can look at classic Peanuts comic strips. which are included in the game, which is really cute. However, I think once you collect them once in the game, like in a save file, they just stay collected forever. So that's cool. I also noticed that there's a lot of dialogue. The characters do actually talk, but I currently have the dialogue muted just because we're going to be skipping all of it anyway. Also, Franklin gave us our second costume of the run, which is Pirate Snoopy, which I absolutely love. He's adorable. I freaking love pirates so much, and Snoopy's got a little eye patch on his other eye. You can't see it currently. But Franklin gave us some tasks, and he was trying to fix up a soapbox car, and he's missing a bunch of parts, so we gotta go ahead and find those all for him. The first one is at the football field. We're gonna complete another football minigame to get, I think it's the soapbox break. And that was an instance where we did actually need marbles to be able to do the activity. If I can recall correctly, it's only this one and one other one. Either, I can't remember if it's this chapter or if it's in the last chapter, or in the second to last chapter where you actually need marbles to be able to do the thing. It's not a, it's a mechanic that's kind of underused. And there we go, there's all of our field goals. Awesome. And we get these lollipops as the reward for this. Awesome. So we've done those field goals for Violet. And Violet has given us a soapbox break. You'll notice that our quest marker in the top left, or top right, whatever direction that is telling us to go back to Franklin. But we need to... There are a couple quests we have active right now. That one was one of them. And at the end, all of them will tell us to go back to Franklin, and then Franklin will be, well, but I also need this other thing. And that's a lot of the quests in this game are just, I need you to do this thing for me. Can you please do this thing for me? Thank you. So the next one is we're going to be looking for the 3 soapbox car tires. These are another one where you're kind of just supposed to dig until you find them all. But they stay in the same mounds every time. So that one was one. And there's a lot of these as well. So, I believe this one is the next one. Oops. Overdug a little bit. And then the last one is going to be here. Awesome. We've got all of our soapbox wheels. Again, this would be another instance if we were playing the game casually where they'd be like, okay, go back to Franklin. But Franklin is not done yet. We've got 3 different quests sort of for you here. The next one is going to take us into town a little bit, and that one is going to be to go to the garage backlot where we're going to play another minigame to try and find the steering wheel for the soapbox car. But as we're getting there, I did want to point out again that this is a cute little video game. The any % category is, frankly, is pretty long. It's about 2.5 hours of playing baby game for babies, which can become a little grating, especially when you are an adult playing a game made for kids. But, like I said, the magic of speedrunning is that you can kind of just play it in a way that makes it fun. And I think doing individual chapter runs is a really great way to play this game and still enjoy it and share it with people without having the kind of slog of doing, you know, fetch quests over and over and over again for 2 hours. So you're rapidly here approaching the garage backlot. For some reason, you can always interact with garbage cans and mailboxes. There's never anything of note in them ever, but you can always interact with every single one of them, which is really funny. So this is the next kind of minigame, which is spot the object. And it's exactly what it sounds like. You need to find the object. They're always in the same spot every time, so very, very easy. So now, we can finally go back to Franklin. For we have all of the parts that he needs for his soapbox car. I have to admit, Franklin's quests in this game are a little long-winded, but Franklin is one of my favorite Peanuts characters. I absolutely adore him. Um, I really appreciate of sort of the newer Peanuts media. There is a special called Welcome Home Franklin, which is completely about Franklin, and it's about his backstory and how he came to town and met with Charlie Brown and became friends and met all of the gang. It's really, really cute. It almost made me cry. And one of my favorite parts about it is that he, if you've ever seen a Charlie Brown Thanksgiving, you know that when they sat down to have dinner, everyone sat at the same side of the table except for Franklin, which kind of sucks, to be frank. But in Welcome Home Franklin, they kind of rectified that finally, and he got to sit with everyone while they had pizza together. It's really, really cute. But now, Franklin, as Julia mentioned, we finally got all the parts for him, but we can't actually put them all on the soapbox car. We need a special glue. So Franklin sends us to Marcie, who is here in the school's arts and craft room. So Marcie needs to make the special glue, but she doesn't know how. And she doesn't know what the ingredients are, so we gotta go to the school library. We need to go figure out what the ingredients are, and we gotta go find this book. We'll go all the way to the library. There's another character working in the library. Her name is Patty, too. I didn't know there was just 2 characters called Patty. Which I guess makes sense as to why there is Patty and then Peppermint Patty, to make sure it's different. But here we're going to do another spot the object one. We're going to be looking for that particular book. It is in the bottom right corner. It's very bright. Wabam. Well, let's start with the books here. We've got the histories and the there's one that's just Beethoven. Now we've got the glue recipe. And now we gotta go get the ingredients for the glue. So we're gonna go all the way to the other side of the school, and we're gonna go to the school kitchen. We're gonna be making sure that we run straight ahead. We're facing straight when we run in the school, because you can run. There's like an invisible wall here where Snoopy will run a little bit diagonal, which will slow him down a little bit. So we make sure that we don't do that. So we're going to go ahead and go to the back kitchen here of the school cafeteria. And we're going to be moving some push carts and some boxes to get to where we need to go. So that is 1, that is 2, and that is 3. Now the glue ingredients are a little bit questionable. I'm not sure. The glue ingredients are water and sugar. I'm not sure what kind of glue that's gonna make and how strong that's gonna be, and I would not trust a soapbox car with that kind of glue, but you know, to each their own. Yeah, if it works, it works. Oh, we are missing the flask. Completely forgot. There's one more thing we need for Marcie, and that is the flasks, so she can actually mix the glue together. And we're going to go ahead and go all the way to classroom 106, which is where the flasks are. That's the science classroom. So that is all the way on the other end of the hallway. That was an oopsie on my part. Since this game is so new, one of the things that I undertook was actually routing up a guide for the game, which has been pretty fun and something that I'm pretty new to. Every speed game that I've ever run has been one that's either... Most of my speed games are pretty old. In the grand scheme of things, I don't run things that come out pretty new. So having to route a game from scratch pretty much has been very brand new, but it's been very rewarding and very fun. And it's one of the various different cool things about being a speedrunner. It was a lot of work, but it was very fun, and the leaderboards for the game have just been approved and put up, and I will be moderating for them, and this guide, once it looks all pretty, will be going up there too. So now we're gonna do the art and craft minigame, singular. The there are a couple quirks about this game that are kind of silly. That's one of them. It is never arts and crafts, like, plural. It's always either art and craft or arts and craft, singular. One of them is always singular, which is just really funny. But anyway, this minigame is a sort of a Simon Says type of deal, where there'll be a pattern out of the face buttons on a controller, and you'll have to remake them so Marcie can make the lyrics speak. And that is that. Success! So now that Marcie has made the glue and helped us out, Marcie's also going to join our group. We've now got the homemade glue. So now we can finally go back to Franklin, and Franklin can put together his soapbox card. We're going to make sure we run straight down this hallway and not close to the wall. That doesn't exist. We get a good angle from the side of Snoopy's eye patch. I absolutely love Pirate Snoopy. This one, the detective one, and the one, kind of the one we're gonna get after this one are normal costumes. Actually, no, I'm lying. There's just one costume in this game that is just really stupid. Not even so much what the costume is, just the name of it is just really dumb. As I said previously, all of the costumes kind of have a different function. So Detective Snoopy lets you track things. Pirate Snoopy lets you dig up things. The next one we're going to be getting is a Gardener Snoopy, which lets us use a leaf blower, which is what we're going to be obtaining by the end of this chapter. And then after that one, the middle one is called Detectorist Snoopy, where you have a metal detector. I don't know who thought that was a good idea, but it just sounds so stupid, and I both love and hate it. So now we are going to go back to the gymnasium so we can go to the storage room, because Franklin was he was moving around equipment, as we saw earlier with all those boxes. You might have seen me accidentally kind of move my... I'd start going towards the other way. That is because once we get here, of course, because this is a school, the janitor has locked, the important things. So we gotta go to the janitor's office. The janitor's office, go look for the storage room key, which is back the other way. So we're gonna go ahead and go back that way. Once again, school is really wet. Really wet school for some reason. And now we are going to play another Spot the Object minigame. The key is going to be on the bottom. It's very obvious. But it kind of makes you wonder, what was the point of locking up the storage room if the key was going to be in a really accessible place for children? So, do with that what you will. There we go, we have our whole gang looking at us front-facing style. One of the other really kind of just endearing things about this game is they just, well, Snoopy was not ever meant to look at us front-facing style. And this game kind of bends reality to do that for us. So here, we found the box where Peppermint Patty's equipment was supposed to be, but it's dirty and not right. So where we're going, this is another one where we are supposed to be following tracks with Detective Snoopy, but we know where the tracks go to. which is the pumpkin patch. So we're just gonna go ahead and go there. You don't actually need to follow the tracks, which is great. There are a lot of things in this game where you are, I don't want to say arbitrarily gate kept, but you can't, there's not a lot you can do to like sequence break the game. Like things are locked. They're like things are locked behind certain other things. You can't just, you have to get the evidence to solve the mystery. You can't just be like, oh, I know what happened. So this game in that instance is not very broken, which kind of sucks. But there are like little things. So unfortunately, we can't go to the pumpkin patch because there's leaves everywhere. So, for some reason, a pigpen has a leaf blower. Although, I don't know pigpen to ever use one of those, or why. Or if he does it, it's not very obvious that he would use one of those. And he should use it on himself, actually. I'm gonna try my absolute best to be nice to Pigpen. But oh my goodness, is Pigpen not one of the most annoying characters in this game ever? I'm trying to be so nice because he is a child, but oh my goodness. So Pigpen says that he did have a leaf blower, but actually he gave it to Franklin. So now we need to go track down Franklin. And as much as I love this game, that is one of the big parts about it. Is it's a lot of, oh, so-and-so is supposed to have this, but oh, so-and-so does not actually have that. Actually, somebody else has it, and we gotta go somewhere else, and then it's just that for however long. So we're supposed to be going to find Franklin, but Franklin went to go clear off the leaves for his, track for the soapbox derby. But he actually lost the key to the safety key for the thing, because the leaf blower needs a safety key. These tracks lead to here, into this little maze here. And what we're going to be looking for are these bird feathers, which kind of foreshadows what actually happened to the safety key. And that's going to help us find our way through this maze to this really big tree. So here we have I think our third football minigame of this chapter. This one and the spot the object one is the ones we'll be seeing the most here. And we got our safety key. Let's go. Awesome. Cool. So now that we have the safety key, we can now go back to Franklin and go get the leaf blower. So what Franklin was doing when he lost the safety, he was trying to clear off the leaves here. So with that, we get Gardener Snoopy. He's got his little gardening hat and his leaf blower, and he looks absolutely adorable. And we blow off all the leaves from here. Awesome. Squeaky clean. But of course, Franklin is not done yet. He would like us to test his soapbox card. And this is one of the reasons I brought up Welcome Home Franklin, because a lot of the plot around that game is Charlie Brown and Franklin participating in the soapbox derby. And it, like I said, it's really, really cute, and if you haven't seen it, you should watch it. And essentially for the soapbox minigames is... all of them, there is a variant. There's easy, medium, and hard. And in the early chapters, you'll get the easy ones, and then we'll go up to medium as you play the game more, and then by the end of the game, you'll have the hard variants. This one is the easy one, where all we have to do is go through these balloon gates. The one after this will they'll start adding like stage hazards, and then eventually you have to do the gates and the stage hazards. So this, like I said, this is a baby game made for babies, but some of the activities and minigames are kind of like deceptively hard. And there we go. That is our soapbox minigame. So now we are going to go ahead and use Gardener Snoopy to blow away all the leaves at the pumpkin patch. Now, I think we will be using the fast travel. There is one that is closer to the pumpkin patch, but I didn't actually collect it when we were over there, but we're just going to go to the one by the school and see if that'll save us a thing. It's close enough, so... And I think it may be faster than running all the way there. I did write a guide for running this game, but my current guide that I'm using is for any percent which routes and specific things. With the full game in mind, which we're not actually doing. Theoretically. So here, we're going to be using, this introduces us to combinations of the costumes, where in particular we're going to be using Gardener Snoopy to blow away the leaves, and then Pirate Snoopy to blow things away. Now we're looking for 3 pieces of evidence. One of them was the wooden train there. The next one is going to be this glass bottle. And there's a lot of leaves here in the pumpkin patch, but the evidence will always be in the same slots. So you can only deal with the things you need to deal with. Let's see. Try my best not to get lost in here. This is a little bit of a maze after all, so... I'm bugging. There you go. I might be tweaking a little bit. There we go. And then the last pieces that we're going to be looking for are over there. Gotta come all the way up and then down to blow away these leaves. This is going to be the exit. And here are the dust-covered football cleats. And that will actually be enough evidence to actually solve the case. Because who wears dust-covered football cleats? So we're going to go ahead and run all the way back to Charlie Brown's house because I didn't collect the fast travel while I was there, which is fine. So we'll just go ahead and go back to school. I'll just run there to save us just a little bit of time. There. And that is kind of pretty much the loop for how chapters work in this game. Essentially, there's going to be a mystery, something's going to happen. We're going to need to try and find evidence to prove what happened. Here is that fast travel that we missed earlier. That is all good. And then eventually, once you get enough evidence, you help everybody do what they need to do. You're going to go to Sally, who's over here. And Sally is going to help us piece together everything. Essentially, there's 4 pieces of evidence. And those are going to be what you need. So you don't actually need to find all the pieces of evidence. You just need to find the ones that are correct. And there we go. You've solved the mystery. The evidence, by the way, were the missing box, the crumpled box, the dust-covered cleats, and the storage note. So as it turns out, the culprit was Pigpen. Freaking Pigpen. So we're going to need fast travel again. We're going to go to the West Hill one. I think that is faster than running down here. We still got to do a little bit of running. I thought it was chill. Alright, Pigpen, what do you have to say for yourself? So we are skipping all the dialogue, but I can pretty much summarize what happened. Pigpen was moving football equipment, and he accidentally dropped Pepper and Patty's stuff, and it got all muddy. And then he was trying to clean it, but because Pigpen is the dirtiest child I've ever seen in my life, it wouldn't get clean. So then he brought the equipment home so his mom could wash it, and so they could get clean. But he didn't have a chance to tell Pepper and Patty that that's what he did, for whatever reason. So that is the case. Now everyone here's at the football field. I don't know how Pigpen got here faster than we did, but that's whatever. But oh my goodness, oh my gracious, we don't have time to play football. We have no time at all for that. It's Snoopy's accursed enemy, the Red Baron. Genuinely, I don't know how much faster fast traveling is than actually walking to where you're supposed to go, but we are going to do that since we have the one for Charlie Brown's house. And we get glorious front-facing Snoopy again. And this is going to be the last thing that we do in this chapter, is we're going to go fight, in quotations, the Red Baron. We're going to go ahead and take off. And here we're introduced to the Red Baron minigame. And oh my goodness, we need to fight and beat Snoopy's mortal enemy, the Red Baron. However, we are going to do that by flying through these rings in the sky. Because that surely that'll show him. Also, the Red Baron doesn't have to do that. He can just kind of do whatever, which sucks, but that's okay, because we're Snoopy. We're gonna freaking get him. So, after this, for this one, you gotta fly in the rings, and you can't miss 3 rings or else it'll be different. But we are gonna be coming up on time for this run. Time will be on success after we beat the minigame. These minigames are not that long. As you see, I recorded an all activities submitted run as well, which is about, I think it's less than 20 minutes. We are going to be coming up on time, and this is going to be a nice little world record. And that is time with a 36:18. Wonderful. And that is Snoopy and the Great Mystery Club Chapter 1. I hope you liked it. We are not actually going to be playing Chapter 2 here. But the title card still plays anyway. We're just going to go ahead and go back to the title screen. Alright. Well, thank you so much for watching this run of Chapter 1 of Snoopy and the Great Mystery Club. I hope you enjoyed it. I love the chapter runs for this game because they're short, sweet, and they're self-contained, and you just get to hang out with Snoopy and the gang and do little stupid stuff, and that's great. Once again, thank you so much, and I hope to see this game in your event soon.